I'm Vanithaa of class 12A, and today I'm going to talk about a scientist named Elise Meitner. Elise Meitner was born on November 7, 1878 into a relatively wealthy, cultured family in Vienna, capital of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Her father was Philip Meitner, a lawyer and chess master. Her mother was Hedwig Skovran, a talented amateur musician. Elise was the third of the couple's 8 children. Even as a child, Elise was academically inclined. She enjoyed mathematics, and her father employed private tutors to help her learn more. Elise was a serious child, for whom, like all Austrian girls in the 1800s, formal schooling ended at age 14. Unlike her brothers, she was not permitted to attend a grammar school to prepare for a college education. After getting a teaching qualification, her father paid for private tutoring to help her for the university exam, which she passed in the summer of 1901. Elise Meitner matriculated at the University of Vienna in October 1901. She was 22 years old and had decided to major in physics. In December 1905, Meitner passed her doctoral oral exam summa cum laude, the highest honor, and in February 1906 graduated with a PhD in physics. Unsure what to do next, Meitner wrote Marie Curie, asking for a research position in her Paris laboratory. But unfortunately, no work was available. Her days were then spent teaching high school physics. In the evenings, she researched the exciting new phenomenon of radioactivity at the university's physics laboratory. She hoped an official research program would be available, but nothing turned up. She turned to Max Planck at the University of Berlin, asking if she could attend his lectures for a semester. In September 1907, Elise Meitner arrived in Berlin. She did not know it, but after almost 3 decades in Vienna, she had left her hometown forever. She would then spend the next 3 decades in her life in Berlin. In 1909, Meitner and Hahn, her nephew, discovered radioactive recoil, finding that when an atomic nucleus emits an alpha particle, the nucleus will recoil like a gun that has fired a bullet. The recoiling, positively charged nucleus can be attracted to a negatively charged electrode. In 1912, Max Planck gave Meitner a paid position as his assistant. This was time-consuming work as she had to mark assignments handed in by Planck's students. In October 1912, the new Kaiser Wilhelm Institute for Chemistry opened in Berlin, employing both Hahn and Meitner. In 1917, Meitner and Hahn discovered 231-protactinium, a new isotope of the element protactinium. Until then, only very short-lived isotopes of protactinium had been discovered, making its properties hard to determine. Aged 38, she was awarded the Berlin's Academy Leibniz Medal for the protactinium discovery, and in 1918, she became the director of radiation physics at the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute. They were nominated 10 times for the annual Nobel Prize in Chemistry or Physics without success. In 1926, Meitner became an untenured professor at the University of Berlin, becoming the first female professor of physics in Germany. After Hitler had become Germany's leader, Meitner was no longer permitted to lecture at the University of Berlin. She was, however, allowed to continue in her senior research position at the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute. In December 1938, Otto Hahn and Fritz Strassmann performed the decisive experiments in the history of nuclear fission. They bombarded uranium with slow-moving neutrons, after which Hahn wrote Meitner with a sense of bewilderment. His research seemed to indicate that the element barium was consistently one of the products. How on earth could uranium produce barium? Uranium's atomic number was 92, while barium's was 56. Actually, however, Hahn and Strassmann realized wrongly. Uranium nuclei were breaking up into smaller nuclei, in other words, nuclear fission. Only Otto Hahn was awarded the 1944 Nobel Prize in Chemistry for the discovery of nuclear fission. Hahn gave proper credit to Meitner and Frisch in his Nobel lecture and also gave Meitner part of the cash from his Nobel Prize. She later became a dual Swedish-Austrian citizen in 1949 and worked in Stockholm until retiring aged 75 in 1953. In 1960, after suffering a broken hip, she moved to Cambridge, UK, to be near her nephew Otto and his family. Elise Meitner died at the age of 98 in Cambridge on October 27, 1968, after being weakened by a second broken hip